now so they can hear us. So we're going to get started with, we're going to do a little session before we start selling stuff so that everybody knows what you're doing. You can't say he didn't tell me that, because I'm going to tell you that right now. We're going to go through the rules and regulations of the sale before we conduct it so that everybody knows what's going on. The rules in complete detail are listed in your sale book right there. We hit them on the page that says rules and regulations. Please take a look at those before your property comes up for sale. When you bid today, you're bound by those rules, so you might want to take a good look at them. In order to bid today, you have to have a valid photo ID. You have to be able to prove who you are, or in some cases are not. You have to be registered prior to bidding. Everybody's got one of those yellow bid cards. That proves to me that you registered over there and you've given us your identification. You might notice people later bidding with a blue card. If somebody bids with a blue card, that means they got here late and they might have missed the rules, and we may make them verify a couple things if they're a winning bidder. These properties have already been through a judicial foreclosure process. The question that is asked all the time is, can the people just show up and pay the taxes and get the property back? And the answer to that is no. There's a circuit court judgment in place with the circuit court in the county where the property is located that vests the title in this property in the name of the county treasurer. Everybody that had an interest in these lands was given until April the 2nd to pay the taxes, or they lost their interest. We have gone and seen the circuit court judge. We asked them to give us basically a clean title to this property, and they have done so. Anybody that had a deed to this property, a land contract, a mortgage against it, security agreements, construction liens, IRS and other tax liens, condo and property owner association fees, all things of that nature are gone as of April the 2nd, 2018. If you buy something today and it has any of these that affect it, however, they're still in place. If there are easements to the property or across the property, they're still valid. If the mineral rights have been retained by a former owner or sold to a third party in the past, they're still split off. If the last owner of the property held the mineral rights, you get them today. If they didn't, you don't. It's that simple. If it is subject to a condominium master deed or deed restrictions from a property or homeowners association, those still apply, as do those fees. They're still subject to zoning, local ordinance, and building code as they may apply in the jurisdiction where they're located. If you're buying acreage today, if it's got crops on it, that corn ain't yours. Any crop that you find on a piece of property that we sell today belongs to the person that planted it, even if it is the former owner. And we reserve the right for them to go in and harvest any crop planted this year. If you buy a piece of property today and go out there this afternoon and find a bunch of pot plants, however, you're on your own. Please know what you're bidding on. Everything that we sell today is being sold by a quitclaim deed. It's being sold as is with all of its faults and defects, whether we know about them or whether you know about them before the sale or not. Everything is sold exactly the way it sits at the time the hammer comes down, even if it's on fire. What you're buying today is the property that's described in the book that you got. You're going to see a section of each listing that says legal description. That's what you're buying. It's either a measured description or it's a subdivision name and a lot number. You're buying that. You are not buying a photograph. You're not buying an address. You're not buying what somebody told you is on the property. You're buying the legal description as it's listed in that book. There's a piece of property right on that screen right there. We had that one in the auction a couple of weeks ago. That's in Grand Marais, if you know where that is. That is Lake Superior. It was $1,800 for a piece of Lake Superior waterfront. How many of you would buy that, sight unseen? How many of you would give me $1,800 for that piece of property right there? A few of you. I would have just made some easy money. If you'd have gone out to that piece of property, that's it right there. That's Lake Superior on the right. That's the lot on the left. If you'd have gone out there with your measuring tape, you would have discovered that 99% of that lot's either on the side of a bluff or underneath Lake Superior. There ain't enough left to set a camp chair on. Please make sure that you know what you're bidding on. Property that we sell today can have lead-based paint, asbestos, frozen plumbing, leaking roofs, bad foundations, nosy neighbors, lot line problems, water line problems, you name it, it's all included today at no extra charge. There are no refunds. Please know what you're bidding on. When you place a bid today, we expect you to live by your bid and pay for what you bid on today. When we sell property, here's how we're going to do it. I've already had a couple people ask. We're going to have all those properties in that book. We're probably going to have maybe about 10 of them that a whole bunch of you are here for today. The ones that are the most popular are going to get moved to the front. If I've got 15 or 20 people here to bid on a piece of property and it's on the last page, we're not going to make you wait. We're going to move those to the very front of the book. Once we've done that, then we're going to go back to the beginning of the book. We're going to sell what's left in order that they're listed. We're going to skip the ones that nobody wants. There aren't many of those. We have online bidding for these parcels, and I've already got a bid on just about every piece in that book. So we won't be skipping many, but there are a few in there that are swampland or they have no road access. We may skip a few of those, but we'll let you know when we do. So that's how we're going to do it. We're going to sell them in the order that they're listed, moving the most popular pieces to the tax accounts. Once a year they do that. What we're doing today is trying to get the county their money back out of these properties. That's what that minimum bid is. That's what that piece of property owes the county right now in the form of back taxes, any maintenance issues or challenges that have been involved since they acquired the property. We're going to open up the bidding today at either the minimum bid you see listed in the book or a higher number if it's round numbers. The people online are going to be bidding in those increments, so are you. Between $1,000 and $10,000, we go up at least $100 at a time in round numbers. $1,400, $1,500, $1,600. Over $10,000, the increment becomes $250. 10 and a quarter, 10 and a half, 10, 750. You guys can do something in the room that the people bidding online cannot do, and that's called jumping the bid. Let's say that I've got a piece of property open and it's $2,000, and I got a whole bunch of people in the room that all got their cards in the air and want to buy it, and you want it really, really bad. You can stand up and say $150,000. And they were both online. They could only go up $250